Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, the Mad Tiger, and up here today, I want to do a bit of a, well, this could be called controversial. I wouldn't really say controversial in the sense of it's going to make a lot of people pissed off. But today, I want to talk about some of the major game franchises that I just haven't actually played or really got into them. And it's not because I don't like these games. I want to put that out there straight away before I get all the comments of, oh, you're not a gamer, you're not a gamer. And I'm going to get to that at the end of the video, address that situation. I have respect for these game series. I think they've all done their part in video game history, and of course have helped build, you know, certain franchises, build certain, help development of the video game cycle. But I want to talk about some of the top sort of franchises that I've just never really got into. And of course, you're probably going to be surprised by a few of these. And like I said, I don't have anything against these series. I just haven't really got around to playing them, and I'll explain some reasons why per series. So I'm just going to get straight into this. The first series is going to come as a massive surprise, and that is the Final Fantasy series. Now, of course, everyone knows the story of Final Fantasy. You know, back in the days of the NES, it was called Final Fantasy because it was meant to be Squaresoft's last game. They were so close to losing money, becoming bankrupt, and they put all their eggs in one basket, called the game Final Fantasy because it was meant to be their final game. Unfortunately, of course, we all know the story. It became one of the biggest franchises of all time. With a massive community. There's you know, so many Final Fantasy games. There's 15 official main Final Fantasy games, and of course, obviously, we all know that Final Fantasy VII, which I think I might actually have. I don't know if I do have it. I'm sure I do have Final Fantasy VII somewhere. I might have sold it actually. Now that I think about it. Oh, no, I do have Final Fantasy VII. So at least I've got some of the, at least I've got the most sought after one, of course. Now, like I said, I don't have anything against Final Fantasy. It's just because there's a few reasons I've never really got around to playing them. A, because they are massive games and there's so much to them. B, I'm not really a big fan of turn-based RPGs. It's not because I don't like them, it's just that after a while I start to get a little bit bored. Again, with some games, the more time you put into it, the more you come to like it. And of course, Final Fantasy helped build that RPG system. It really was, you know, the precursor to turn-based RPGs back on the NES and of course the Super Nintendo. And then obviously Final Fantasy VII is still considered to this day the best Final Fantasy game of all time. And we are getting the remake. Now I know there's plenty of Final Fantasy games. The only one that I've actually tried was World of Final Fantasy on PS4. And I know it's not really an official Final Fantasy game, it's more of a spin-off. And yeah, there's Final Fantasy, the main series, obviously 1 to 15, of course, there were X2, X3, you know, 13 had like 3 games. You know, 15, of course, was a much more different game. And I know there's different styles of Final Fantasy. You've got your turn-based one, you've got your grid tactics-based ones, and then you've got your hack and slash ones. And to be honest, that's probably the ones that I'd probably try out first, would be the hack and slash one. And I want to get this straight. It's not that I don't have any Final Fantasy games. I have a ton of Final Fantasy games. I've just not got around to playing any. And I know that I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this. But will I play them? I eventually will get around to playing a Final Fantasy game. It's just that trying to find one that will be good for me to actually sit there and play. And if I'm on the top of my head, I'm probably going to go towards 15. If I'm going to start a Final Fantasy game and try and beat it, it'll be 15 because I know that 15 has a very sort of very easy for newcomers to the series because it's got a much more hands-on hack and slash style to it. And of course there were so many spin-offs: World of Final Fantasy, Crystal Chronicles, you know, There were tactics, of course, on the handheld system. Final Fantasy's been on pretty much everything. You can get it on your phone these days. There's phone versions. There's so many Final Fantasy games. It's just trying to find where to start. And I am aware that the Final Fantasy games, for the most part, is you don't need to have played any other Final Fantasy game to enjoy a Final Fantasy game. So I could play 7 and not need to worry about playing 1 to 6 beforehand. You know, and we all know the story of Final Fantasy, you know, 2 and 3, 1, actually 2 and 3, you know, 3 was actually 6 and you know, 2 was like 5 or whatever, because in Japan it never came out in America. It's got a really crazy timeline and a crazy version. You know, if you want to play the original Final Fantasy 2 and 3, you need to get the anthology on PS1, which has the original 2 and 3 remakes or whatever. It's crazy. That's what I mean. It's a very hard series for someone that's never played a Final Fantasy game to really sit there and figure out what one they want to try out first. And to be honest, this video might help me out, because you guys can tell me which ones are the ones worth playing, which ones aren't the ones that you really want to delve into, which ones are the more accessible ones for newcomers and stuff like that. Of course, there were so many different versions. Like I said, you've got the online only Final Fantasy games like Final Fantasy 14, which of course is still growing strong today. You know, it's meant to be the best MMORPG online. Some people say that, some people don't, down to your personal opinion. Like I said, I have respect for Final Fantasy. It helped build the JRPG franchise. It helped build an amazing, crazy storyline. Some of the best games of all time. Final Fantasy 7 on PS1 is considered to this day in the top 5 PlayStation 1 games, of course. It's often when you see like a top 10 or a top 100 PlayStation 1 games, Final Fantasy 7 and Metal Gear Solid always battle it out for #1. So it's really, I still think Metal Gear Solid 1 is the best PlayStation 1 game, just because, but you know, Final Fantasy just is a series that's so many games. And like I said, I could go through and look at all my Final Fantasy games and maybe do a video on some of these series and see which ones are the ones worth playing. I am aware that Final Fantasy 15 does have a co-op mode or DLC, which was free, I believe. So I might try that out in co-op with my friend, maybe one day, I don't know. But yeah, I have respect for Final Fantasy, but like I said, I've never really got around to playing. Another series that I've never really been big on playing is The Legend of Zelda, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. Again, like I said, I have respect for these series. I don't have anything against them. I do want to play them at some point. It's just trying to find out the best time to play them, which one to start with. Now, with The Legend of Zelda, I'm going to be completely honest. The only Zelda game, or Zelda-esque game, that I've actually put a semi-decent amount of time into is Hyrule Warriors on the Switch. Of course, originally on the 3DS and Wii U. And I enjoyed this game. It was a good way for me to sort of understand some of the characters, maybe help me out when I play some of the games. Of course, there's so many Zelda games, you know, Wind Waker and, you know, on the GameCube, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Link to the Past, the original Zelda games, you know. There's so many Zelda games out there, and like I said, spin-offs. And so, again, you just don't know where to start. Of course, you could start with the original on the NES, which I do have on the Switch, because you get NES games on the Switch, which is great. And again, same thing with Zelda. I never really got into Zelda games just because it was another series that sort of went over my head. Mostly because I didn't really play Nintendo growing up. I was more PlayStation and Xbox orientated growing up. But of course, I do have Nintendo consoles now. You know, I've got Switch, I've got Wii, I've got, once I've got DS. You know, and again, Legend of Zelda, a fantastic series. It really, really helped build this whole fantasy game, building a game that, you know, back in the day, Zelda helped build, you know, this whole concept of having a game that was more than just a game, making a world, so to say, that people could really delve into and really explore and expand on. And, you know, of course, I was going to say Hideo Kojima then, but it's not Hideo Kojima. guy who owned Nintendo back in the day, Japanese guy. I forgot his name. It will come to me after the video, I'm sure. But yeah, really, really is an amazing series. Just one that I've never really got into. Again, which one do I start with? Let me know in the comments which one would be the best one to play for a newcomer. I'm thinking about maybe getting Link's Awakening DX on whatever it's called, Link's Awakening Remastered, whatever, on Switch, because I hear that's a good game for newcomers, especially if you like that top-down style of Zelda. And of course, you know, Breath of the Wild is another fantastic Switch game which you can get as well, which is a must-have, of course. I just haven't got it yet because it's still about a £60 game, even though it came out a couple of years ago. But still, just goes to show how good that game is, right? It keeps its value. That don't normally happen with a lot of first-party games. Normally, the value decreases over the years, especially with newer consoles. And again, I might get a lot of hate for this, but the Mario series. Now, I am not going to sit here and say I've never played a Mario game. I've played a ton of Mario games. But when I say Mario games, I'm on about the more traditional Mario games, the platforming Mario games. I've played Mario Kart, I've played Mario Party, fantastic games, great games, especially with friends, family and friends, lovely, fun, awesome games. You're going to have a lot of fun with Mario. But Mario is the biggest franchise of all time. Mario's done everything. You've got adventure Mario games, you've even got educational Mario games. You've got racing games, you've got platforming games, of course, which is the most one. You've got beat-em-up style one. Well, I guess you could call them beat-em-up with Smash Bros, but it's not. Is Smash Bros a Mario game? Well, it's debatable. He's in it, but is it his game? I don't know. But when I talk about Mario games, the traditional platforming Mario games, whether it's 2D or 3D Mario games, I've never really been one to go out and buy a new Mario game day one in a long time, just because I don't know. I've never really been great at the Mario series, especially the platforming one. I do have a lot of respect for Mario, of course. If I was to sit here and say which was my favourite Mario I've ever played, it would have to be Sunshine on GameCube. A bit of an unpopular opinion there, but I think what I enjoyed about Sunshine is it took, you know, the classic style of, you know, Mario 64, which is still considered to be a masterpiece. It is a masterpiece. It's a fantastic game. Helped build 3D Mario. Proved that games in 3D can be done right. Back in the day, you know, the early days of 3D gaming. Of course, by today's standard, it's you know, it's the basic format, right? But of course, you've got to love Mario for what it is. I enjoyed Sunshine on GameCube. I think it was a nice, a really good opening game for someone who's never really played a platforming 3D platformer, because I think that, you know, the flood mechanics, of course, with the you know, the water jetpack and stuff, really, I don't know, it was a really nice and welcoming game, and it is one that I hope that Nintendo will bring back. Of course, we won't even go into all of the spin-offs with Mario characters, you know, Peach games, Mario and Luigi games, Bowser games, Boo games, Wario games, Waluigi games, every fucking thing. Every character in Mario is going to have their own bloody game. What's next? Goomba fucking, you know, a Goomba game where you play as a bloody Goomba. I mean, you can play as a fucking Goomba in Mario Party, but still, what, you know, it's crazy, right? You know, they're some of the big franchises, the top 3 franchises that I haven't actually played. Of course, there's a bunch of games that I've missed out on over the years. Resident Evil, I haven't played all of the Resident Evil games, like I mentioned, and it's good that they are bringing them back, and we're getting all of these new Resident Evil games. Again, never really played Resident Evil growing up. It was sort of, when I was a kid, you know, I wasn't really meant to play those sort of games, so obviously by today's standards I can play whatever I want, but, you know, Resident Evil was another one that I really never got into growing up. But of course, we've got remakes and remasters now. Another series that I've just noticed is Mass Effect. Yeah, Mass Effect. The only Mass Effect game that I can see here is Andromeda. Of course, some people say it's not even game class as a Mass Effect game. Other people say it's alright. But I've never really played any of the Mass Effect games, actually, now that I think about it. And comparing it to the other 3 games I've just mentioned, it's not really on par with those sort of games. But, you know, Mass Effect is another series that I've heard great things about. I've played a little bit of the original Mass Effect, and it seemed like a pretty good game, but because it's one of those big open-ended RPG games, you can really put a lot of time into, similar with Dragon Age. So Mass Effect and Dragon Age are two big open games that I've never really put too much time into and would like to play at some point. So in a way, this video is me telling you games that I haven't played and would like to play, and maybe know a bit more about which ones are the best ones to play and which ones are the ones to avoid. Not that Zelda and Mario have too many games to avoid, and same with Final Fantasy from what I hear. But of course every series has its ups and downs, right? Yeah, I mean, I could go on forever with some games that I haven't really played over the years. Sonic the Hedgehog is another one that I've missed out on a few over the years. Of course, I loved Sonic the Hedgehog. Of course, had the original game in its case, all completed box, so got to have that. But I never really played too many Sonic games over the years. I played them, but I've never really grew on with Sonic. I said that I prefer Sonic over Mario, and I still do, just because I think Sonic has a bit more, I love these cases. They just bring back so much memories. It's just 90s combined with best case of all times. But yeah, Sonic games I've never really delved into too much. Of course, I played them, but I've never really, I sort of gave up on Sonic after it went to 3D, just because I hear that the 3D Sonic games were a bit shitty, especially after 06. I mean, we could talk about sports games. I don't play sports games at all, FIFAs and stuff, but I wouldn't really class them as games that I'm missing out on, because I don't really like sports games, so it's not really something I really would mention. There are other racing series like Gran Turismo is another one that I missed out a lot on over the years. Played a few of them. I used to play Gran Turismo 4 a lot on the PS2. But afterwards I sort of just gave up with racing games in general. Same with Forza, never really got into Forza. I'm just looking here at some games that I've missed out on over the years. I mean, the list goes on. You've got SOCOM as well, is another one that I hear great things about and just never played. You know, Virtua Fighter, not that I really meant, again. You know, I could go on forever with some of these series, and it's hard to think off the top of the head because there's so many games that I've played and so many that I haven't played. But what I wanted to try and get at is that one of the biggest complaints that I have with some people, especially online, is that when you mention games that you haven't played, people seem to think that you are the worst thing in existence. I just want to put this out there that gaming is something that everyone is entitled to game and play what they like, and should not feel any pressure from anyone else. If they say, don't play this game, it's shit, or play this game, you have to play this game, if you don't play it, you're not a gamer, I find that to be just disgusting. I think it's one of the worst things about some people out there. You know, if you don't play the newest Call of Duty, you're not a gamer. If you don't play FIFA, you're not a gamer. I personally think I am a pretty much a gamer, considering how many games I've got and how much knowledge of games I've got. So for you to sit there and say that if I don't play Call of Duty, I'm not a gamer, then I think you're just a bit of an imbecile, or a baka, as they say in Japan. And I think it's unfair that a lot of people are afraid to say what they haven't played, because they fear that people will sort of, in a way, bully them. And I want to sit here and say that the same thing goes with consoles. You know, when people, we talk about console wars, but they're going to live on forever, right? I find it disgusting that people sit there and say that, oh, I play games on PS2 or PS3. Look, if you enjoy a system and some games, then go for it. It doesn't matter what other people say. It doesn't matter what your name is. It doesn't matter what other people say about what you enjoy. I play Dynasty Warriors. I get a lot of hate for that, right? People say that it's just terrible series, but I enjoy it. Same with the Yakuza series. Well, I've never heard anyone say anything bad about the Yakuza series, and if you did, you can go fucking chop your balls off, mate, because you don't hate on Yakuza. I'm just kidding, but we are entitled to our likes and dislikes. That's the whole point of having free will. That's the whole point of freedom of choice. And gaming is something that we should have complete freedom over. Not everyone has every single game. Not everyone has thousands of games like me. Some people are happy to sit there and play FIFA or Call of Duty or wrestling games or Mass Effect or any game they want. Some people are quite happy to sit there and just have NES games and play NES for the rest of their life. That is your choice. Don't hate on someone because they don't play a game that you enjoy. If you enjoy a game, play it, enjoy it. Feel free to share it. Feel free to share what you enjoy. But also don't feel afraid to feel that you can't say what games you don't like. We are entitled as gamers to be able to enjoy anything we like. And the same thing goes with when new games come out. Death Stranding, for example. I haven't played it personally, but it's a game that had mixed reviews. But the people that like it often get, harassed by the people that don't like it. If you didn't like it, that's your opinion. Fine, you can have that opinion. But if you did like it, you shouldn't feel like you can't say that you don't like it because in fear that everyone that don't like it is going to take on you and feel like you're the worst person on earth. No, that's the whole point of a game, and that's the whole point of opinions. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Don't ever sit there and feel like you can't play a game because other people say that it's terrible. I've been told so many times by some people, don't play this game, almost fell over them. Don't play this game, it's terrible. Then I've gone on to play the game and I've actually enjoyed it myself. Other times, yes, I played a game and it is pretty terrible. But then again, that's the joy of gaming. Feel free to enjoy and explore whatever you want. There are hundreds and thousands, if not millions, of games out there for your enjoyment. Whether they're good or bad, it's your choice to make, whether you play them or you don't play them. I don't buy certain games, right? I don't buy FIFAs, I don't really buy sports games, I'm not really buying racing games that much these days, and the same thing goes with things like Call of Duty and Battlefield. Some games I just don't buy because I don't have any interest in them, but I respect that people do have interest in them, and if you like that sort of thing, fine, it's your choice. But some people can sit here and only play, JRPGs, for example, and then people think, well, you're playing some weird-ass games. It's not really a game. It's too weird, isn't it? Compare it to Call of Duty, where it's all amazing, right? Don't do that. Don't be a dick. Enjoy games. Play on your own time. If you play with friends, you play alone, it doesn't matter. You can enjoy whatever you want, when you want. And that's sort of why I've done this video today. Just sort of put it out there that I haven't played everything, and there are games that I haven't played, but I don't hate people or I don't hate the series, right? I can sit here and say that I hate FIFA. I don't hate FIFA. I respect that, FIFA is a game that people love and enjoy. It's the same with football, it's a sports game. You're going to have sports fans, people are going to want to play the game. Same thing goes for me. I like, Chinese history, therefore I like Dynasty Warriors, right? Is it accurate? Maybe not, but that's the whole point. I'd rather play something that's out there, that's not realistic, that might have some history behind it, but also just is not realistic. Other people like playing sports games which they can go out and do in real life or watch on TV, but they like to play it in their own house. That's fine by me. Do what you want to do. I want to know your opinions on this whole matter. Do you feel like you can't say what games you like and what games you don't like on the internet or anywhere because you get a lot of hate? Is it time to end this hate? I think we should get a group of people that agree with what I'm saying here, and we should rise up and we should create a united gamers front for people that actually care and respect about the gaming community. Don't make this community, the whole point of gaming today is so big. Years ago, if you were a gamer, you were considered a nerd, you were considered a weirdo. Nowadays, everyone's playing games, right? So why do we need to sit here and divide ourselves even more? There is no need for division. Come together as gamers. Whether you like Red Dead Redemption or you like FIFA, does it really matter? At the end of the day, games is games, right? Play to enjoy, live to win, end of story. Anyway guys, I think I'm going to end this here today. If you enjoyed today's little video, feel free to leave a like. Bit of a controversial one here. Might be considered controversial. I don't know. We'll see. And of course, leave a comment below. Let me know some of your series that you haven't played. And of course, the series that I've mentioned, Zelda, Final Fantasy, Mario, stuff like that. Let me know which ones are the ones that I should really think about playing before anything else. I am aware that games like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Breath of the Wild, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy, Tactics, stuff like that are the big ones that I should play and should get. But of course, I'd like to know some other hidden gems and which ones are the more finicky ones. I like to explore the world and see what I can find. And of course, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to be staying up late tonight to watch the Royal Rumble. Yes, I'm starting to watch WWE again. Not that you're that interested, but if you are interested, I don't know, I just decided to get BT Sport now that it's on BT Sport. It saves a lot of money. Well, I wouldn't really say it saves too much money, but, so I've decided to watch it again. Seems like a good time to watch it, Royal Rumble. To be honest, there's only 2 pay-per-views that if I had to watch a pay-per-view of WWE, it's always Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. Have always been my favourite, so who knows? It's going to be on tonight. Looking forward to watching it. I watched Raw this week, and I'm going to watch SmackDown as well tonight before Royal Rumble. And the best way to just... I gave up watching WWE over a year ago, not long after last year's WrestleMania, because I think I just sort of got a bit bored of it. And I think it was also because I switched to Virgin, so I didn't have, Sky Sports anymore. And I just couldn't be asked to go and buy it again. And I think it was because... It's not that I didn't like it. The best way to describe it is WWE was kind of like a pizza. But then nowadays, when I watched it the other day, it's like, okay, you've still got the pizza, but now there's a bit of garlic bread on the side. So it's a little bit better, but I don't know. So sorry about that. I just thought I'd mention that's what I'm doing tonight. So I apologise if there's no videos in the week. Well, there will be some more in the week, hopefully, but definitely not tomorrow because I'll be fucking tired because I've got to stay up till like 5 o'clock to watch it. But it is what it is. Of course, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Mad Kaiga. Of course, feel free to leave comments and stuff on there and let me know how you're getting on and all that good stuff. Sorry there's been no streams as of late. I just haven't really got round to doing it. I might do some streaming hopefully in the week. We'll see. And of course, guys, have a nice day and I will see you in the next video. It's hard to believe I didn't have that much sleep last night, but whatever. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and bye-bye.